For the first time since 2019, the Xavier Musketeers will play on Big East Tournament semifinal Friday. They beat DePaul in comeback fashion, 89-84. We're joined by their head coach, Sean Miller. And Sean, you're down by 13 points in the second half. Why didn't your team quit?
You know, John, I think some of it is
Welcome to Big East Shootaround from Madison Square Garden. It's an After Dark edition. Good morning. We've got Greg McDermott. We've got Baylor Shireman. Blue Jays win it 87-74 over Villanova. They're on to the Big East semifinals later today. They will take on the Xavier Musketeers at 9 Eastern Time, FS1. Greg, all 5 starters in double figures. The ball was popping tonight. What was the message that you relayed to your team that you felt like they translated to the floor?
Pace. You know, when we played Villanova in Philadelphia, we weren't able to get enough stops. I think they were 1.31 points per possession. Is one of our worst defensive efforts of the year. But when you're taking it out of the net, you can't establish pace in transition. And I thought tonight we got stops. We got out and ran. We spaced the floor. We moved the basketball. We turned good into great in terms of our shot selection. And our shooters stepped up and made some shots.
Baylor Shireman, watching you guys tonight, it looked like Maui Creighton. I mean that in the biggest compliment that can come off, because you guys just were rolling there to the championship game. How much did you feel like this was the best version of yourselves?
Yeah, you know, it felt pretty good. Obviously, we were able to get stops early, and like Coach said, able to play with pace. And, you know, shots went in early, which obviously always helps. And, you know, our crowd was fantastic tonight. It brought a lot of energy, and there was just a lot of energy in this building, and it was just a lot of fun.
Ryan Kalkbrenner, 21 points tonight. We know what happened 12 days ago when you guys met Villanova. Eric Dixon had the word, but Mac, 21, his defensive ability. What did you see from your big man?
You know, we talked all week in preparation for this about his activity and not getting caught in the middle. You know, are you going to help or are you going to stay close? Like, you can do both. And, you know, I thought Ryan did a much better job of that. And I also thought his teammates did a good job of providing some stunts and a little bit of help to try to keep Eric off balance a little bit, not knowing whether we're going to run at him or not. And he hit some threes late, and obviously they're a hard team to guard when they're shooting it like that. But it was nice to see Kalk bounce back like he did.
Baylor, when you said that you were coming to the Creighton Blue Jays, you talked about the opportunity of being in the Big East. And that opportunity comes with playing inside the world's most famous arena. Mm-hmm. What was your first Garden experience like?
Yeah, you know, it was an unreal experience. Obviously, growing up around the game of basketball, you know what this arena is about and everything, you know, the history of it. And, you know, being able to finally, you know, play a game in here, you know, it was just an unreal feeling and, you know, an experience that, you know, I'll cherish forever, and I'm excited to get back today.
Mac, we heard Omaha tonight. What did you hear?
Those people don't mess around. You know, they're loud and proud, and you know, we had a great crowd here. I'm so pleased with and appreciative of the support that we have. Obviously, we pack 17,000 into our home arena every night, but for them to be here, and you know, I joked in the press conference, there's a little pressure on us because they don't want to be here for just one day. They're here for the weekend, so you know, we have to get that first win, and now we're on to the semifinals against a great Xavier team, and you know, we'll leave it all out there and see if it's good enough.
You just got done saying in the press conference that Villanova will be okay, that they went through some things that a team can go through. Is there anything extra psychological when you go up against the Villanova Wildcats?
Well, you have so much respect for them, and my first message to the team before the game, we're playing one of the most disciplined teams in the country. To beat a team that plays with that discipline, you yourself have to be disciplined. And I thought we did that tonight. 22 assists, 8 turnovers. You know, we got to the foul line. We kept them off the foul line. All the things that the recipe that you have to follow to be able to beat a Villanova team. And, you know, we have great respect for them. And obviously they really owned us in Philadelphia a couple weeks ago. So for us to bounce back and play this way, I'm really proud of the guys.
The people watching this are about to go to sleep. Can you give us the life of Greg McDermott in the next hour, 2 or 3?
Greg McDermott is not about to go to sleep. Greg McDermott's got a lot of work to do. You know, so it's been a while. We played Xavier at the end of January. And, you know, at that time, Zach Fremantle was still playing. So it's a little bit of a different team than the one we played the end of January. So, you know, we'll study the film. You know, both teams were in games that were in the 80s tonight. Everybody will be running on adrenaline tomorrow night or tonight. But it's you're playing in the semifinals in the Garden. It doesn't get any better.
Last one for you. Rob Anderson is always right. He introduced you to me earlier tonight, and you said, Rob, we've met.
Yeah.
Where did we meet?
We played horse back in the preseason. I can't remember what day it was or when it was, but I I just remember what happened. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
let me guess who won.
Well, I won at Old Mattress Factory after.
Yeah.
Blue Jays, we will see you later today. Congrats.
Thanks, John.
That's Creighton. We'll be back with analysis from Vin Parisi and Tariq Turner. You're watching Shootaround from the tournament. Thanks, fellas. Well, good morning, everybody. If you are watching this show right now, you're insane. And that's exactly who we're here for. I'm John Fanta. He's Vin Parisi. He's Tariq Turner. And welcome to Shoot-Around After Dark. Fellas, we just witnessed a quarterfinal Thursday at the Big East Tournament, one of the best that we have seen since the conference reconfigured. The first three games, you got to the under 4 timeout. Didn't matter if it was DePaul and Xavier or St. John's and Marquette, Providence Xavier, or Providence UConn, which was a 26-point game at one point. It was going to be close, and everybody was standing. We have a Final Four in the Big East Tournament, and it's all chalk. It's all chalk after all that chaos. So we've got UConn Marquette tomorrow night, and we've got Creighton Xavier to cap it off, 6:30, 9 o'clock FS1.
It's all chalk, and it's a different feel with the Midwest schools being there on a Friday night. That has not happened with this new look as we've known it.
No, it will be the first time since Big East reconfigured. Just take a look at the bracket. It's up right now. That you have three of the 4 in the semis, non-charter members or not named Villanova, who came in a year into the conference. What do you make of the 4 teams that are left, Tariq Turner?
Well, it's not a surprise. There are only 4 ranked teams in the league. And it's just very simple. The best 4 teams are left standing. So are we really surprised? I mean, we came into this saying it's wide open, and I did feel like it was wide open. But 2 days later, the best 4 teams are the 4 teams that we thought were. And I think that's a testament to this league. And, you know, throughout the top of the league all the way to the bottom, these 4 teams have stood out.
Let's begin with the game that we just saw because we just had Creighton with us. Blue Jays 87, Villanova 74. Then what did you take away from Creighton's performance?
Well, I look at the fact that we've known how dynamic Creighton is from an offensive standpoint. The way they shoot the three ball, the passes, the assists. I mean, how many times do you look down at a box score and see 22 assists on 28 field goals, which is just remarkable. But I still don't think enough people nationally talk about Creighton as a defensive team. I mean, let's talk about the defensive numbers of this crew atop the league standings throughout. And, you know, when you look at the way the Blue Jays executed on both ends, as McDermott said tonight, that's what's going to make tomorrow night fun, because you're talking about some of the best offenses in college basketball. I mean, high-powered, Xavier, Marquette, these teams score the basketball, Creighton shoots the basketball, and then UConn has the whole package. We have the makings of two fantastic matchups.
Tyreek, 5 Blue Jays, all 5 starters in double figures. Ryan Kalkbrenner, 21 points. Baylor Shireman, who came from South Dakota State, was that highly touted transfer. Well, tonight, 12 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, 22 assists to 8 turnovers. Did this not feel like vintage Creighton?
Yeah, I mean, you just said it. The balance scoring, I thought Shireman, maybe to me, his best complete floor game of the season. Based on what you just said, almost a triple-double. And, you know, the balance they have, when you look at Nembhard and the way he controls tempo and the way he just runs the show, he's a maestro out there. He doesn't force it, but he's aggressive. And he puts pressure on the opposing defenses by his ability to get in the lane, set the table, but also score the ball himself. I thought that this was maybe Creighton's most complete game all season. And you talked about the defensive end. You're right. Not a lot of people talk about that, but they consistently rank as one of the top defensive teams, not only in the Big East, but in the country. So I think they are peaking at the right time. And Creighton right now has got to be the favorite to me.
Jumping on the Fanta Bear train.
Was that said before?
Oh, my.
What is that, the Cabbage Patch?
Yes, it is.
Wow. Can we get that? We got to run that back.
It is. Because Vin goes, well, we're going to hold you to it. You're going to be back at 11:30 or midnight.
I'm staying with the
it is.
Huskies. I can't get this image of the Cabbage Patch situation out of my head
how
right
about
now.
a
You're
Creighton
staying
Huskies
with the
final?
Huskies? That's
Yes.
good. Well, I'm glad you are, because
But
I
you know
heard
what?
from Dave Benedict tonight that I didn't pick UConn.
But you know what? Tariq brings a great point up. And here's the thing. People look at Shireman just as like a shooter. Okay, this isn't like Ballack from a few years ago to where he's a small little guard floating deep on the perimeter. He gets himself double-doubles. And then when you talk about them defensively, holding Villanova to 33% in the first half. But Greg McDermott made a great point in the post-game press conference talking about how when you play Villanova, you have to turn your defense upside down because they try to drag Kalkbrenner away from the paint, and they're still able to adjust and help and be connected.
And he talked about making that adjustment of stunting at Dixon to kind of keep him from attacking and giving him a little bit of respect, but also respecting the fact that he tries to stretch the floor with the 3-ball.
The Jays moving on. They've really been a staple to making runs in this tournament. On to the semifinals. Made the final, well, the last 2 years against Georgetown a couple years back, against Villanova last year. Let's turn to the team that they're going to be meeting. So Xavier comes back from 13 down to beat DePaul 89-84. Before these guys break down the game, we talk with Sean Miller after it. And here's that conversation with the Xavier head coach, who talked about getting the vibes inside the Garden and what it meant to be back inside the world's most famous arena. For the first time since 2019, the Xavier Musketeers will play on Big East Tournament semifinal Friday. They beat DePaul in comeback fashion 89-84. We're joined by their head coach, Sean Miller. And, Sean, you're down by 13 points in the second half. Why didn't your team quit?
You know, John, I think some of it is we have great experience. You know, we have an older group. We have a veteran group. And, you know, a lot of our guys have learned not only through success, but also failing. And, you know, I mean, I think it's that combination of Jack Nungy and Colby Jones, Adam Kunkel, Sule Boone. When you think about all the experiences they've had, you know, I felt like we were poised. We kept playing when, you know, it would have been easy for us to just look around and say, not today. And I admire that about our guys, very proud of them, and really excited about being a part of the semifinals tomorrow here on Friday.
I mean, you were a player in this league. like you said, a billion years ago. Now you're coaching in this league. And, I mean, your players know what this moment means. I guess my question is, looking at the last 5 minutes of the game, no jump shots, everything to the rim, everything in the paint. Was that just the flow of the game, or was that just a point of emphasis for you to just attack and either try to score or get fouled?
No, I mean, your observation is very well put. We went to Colby Jones. We really did. You know, I think when you get into a situation like that, sometimes you can overthink it. It's like put the ball in your best player's hands, give him a variety of different things to look for, and let's see what he can do. And Colby's really developed that. If you followed him over the last 2 weeks, I think he was the Big East Player of the Week in the last week of the regular season. You know, his scoring has really picked up. And, you know, he was 10 for 19, but the last 8 minutes he scored or got fouled on a lot of possessions that helped us secure the win.
Through it all tonight, when DePaul's hitting shots and when they get out to a lead, it just feels like Jack Nunge is someone you can count on. Steady presence, 23 and 10 tonight, 10 of your 28 rebounds. Just how much does he continually steady the ship for this Xavier team?
His personality's like that too, John. He's an old soul, and I mean that in a very complimentary way. You know, Jack doesn't get too high, he doesn't get too low, but you know, the other part for him is he had 4 assists and no turnovers. So if you think about it, he had 10 rebounds, 6 on the offensive end. He was 7 for 14, which includes 3 for 4 from 3. And he had a monster night. You know, I talked a lot about Colby, but Jack had 23 points and thought he had a great game as well.
You got a quick turnaround. That's part of the Big East and what makes it so special. What do you think about looking ahead? I mean, you're going to watch this game, kind of get prepared for tomorrow. Do you have any thoughts, or are you just going to wait and see, or what's the preparation like for you as soon as you leave this table?
Well, I have some strong thoughts. Number one, I think Creighton can make a huge run in March. I really believe that. And there's not a doubt in my mind Villanova is an NCAA tournament team. Watching what they had to overcome with their injuries and Justin Moore, it's really not fair to assess them based on the schedule they played. By the way, their non-conference schedule was unmerciful. Yeah. They had a schedule set up as if they were, you know, a Final Four caliber team, which I know that's what their program's about. But when you play Villanova today, March, with the cast that they have, so either game, to your question, is a war. I'm just grateful we have the opportunity to play one of them.
Sean, we'll cap with this. Whether it was riding the elevator here today or just walking out into the hardwood, did you take a moment to soak this all in?
I always do. New York City is a special place, and you know, the last time I was here as a player, we lost to Miami. They were 1-17. Constantine Popa hit a jump hook.
Wow,
and think about that. So you want to know how much the Big East tournament means? I can still remember my last game here. It was a bad one. So I'm glad the next one was a lot better.
He's not that old, Tariq.
Oh, we're close. I mean, he got me by a couple years, but we're not far apart.
Tariq, when you think of the players in the Big East, you know, when someone says you played in the Big East, who was in the Big East when you played? Who do you name?
Ray Allen, Allen Iverson, John Wallace.
Cliff Robinson. Ronnie
yeah.
Cycli, Derek Coleman, Sherman Douglas, Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe Mutombo. I mean,
it's endless.
Yeah, and they all played in this tournament.
Yeah.
So,
See, he did get something on that year in broadcasting.
He knows.
He's got some hosts in him, too.
He's balanced. He knows what to do.
Let me tell you, the amount of time that I picked that performance up last year, I didn't get enough credit. I really didn't. It would have been dull. I don't even know if you guys would have trended the way you have without me. So
it's the reps.
Yeah,
the more reps, the better you
no
get.
Doubt.
You know.
And I've heard some complaints that it's not quite the same without me.
That's right. HR has reached out, and Jeff.
I got paid with a Jack Lambert jersey, and if you consider that, I mean, I really outperformed my coverage.
We'll see you tomorrow night.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Let's talk about that Xavier win, and we thank Sean Miller for his time. So the Musketeers are down 13 points in the second half, and it was looking bleak. DePaul shot 70% in the opening 20 minutes. They couldn't miss. And Sean Miller said at the break that he told Colby Jones, let's go. You got to get going. He scored 18 of his 22 points in the second half.
Well, he took over the game, and they ran everything through him the last 5 minutes. He either got to the rim and scored or got fouled. And I think he made himself some money last night. I do. I think he put himself in a position where if I'm watching him as an NBA scout, I look at Kobe Jones as a guy that can be a rotational player. He's good in screen and roll. He can hit the floater. He can hit the three. He's strong. He's good on the glass. And he's a good defender. I think he showed a lot tonight. And most importantly, Vinny, he wouldn't let his team lose.
No, for sure. And listen, think about how good you got to be to overcome that. If you look at the box score on paper, DePaul should have won the basketball game. They shot 61% from the field. They had 5 more field goals than the Musketeers. I agree with what Sean Miller said to us off camera here. He said, listen, we're not going to dissect this. The point is we advanced. Yeah. We got past them. This is tournament play basketball. Yeah. They only had 8 turnovers. They didn't turn the basketball over. You know what won them the game? They went a la Al Durham in Providence last year, 20 for 27 from the free throw line. And they did the little things down the stretch. But now, you advance and survive. That's this time of the year.
Xavier is 7-0 in Big East Tournament quarterfinal games, and we heard from Kobe Jones and Adam Kunkel after this one. Kunkel added 16 points with our own Paul Frischner. Here's the conversation.
Gentlemen, congratulations on a win tonight at Madison Square Garden. Xavier going back to the Big East semifinal for the first time since 2019. You guys leading the way. Kobe, I want to start with you. I want to congratulate you. You scored your 1,000th career point tonight. How does it feel to do that in Madison Square Garden in front of this crowd on quarterfinal Thursday?
I mean, it's just a blessing. God's blessed me my whole basketball career, and just to achieve a milestone like this in the world's most famous arena, I mean, it's definitely going to be a memory I keep with me for life, so it feels good.
In your last 4 games, you have scored 90 points. You're shooting 66% from the field. What switched 4 games ago? What has led you to this point in your season where you've just completely taken over these games?
I mean, just Coach Miller's giving me that confidence. He's saying in March, players step up, team step up. So I'm just trying to do whatever because I know our team, we want to go far, and I know for that players got to step up, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Adam, to come back here this year after the performance that happened last year on Wednesday night, and now to come here this year, and things are shaky in the first half, you're down 9, but you overcome your largest halftime deficit of the season in the sense of coming back to win from your largest halftime deficit from that point. So to be able to go into the halftime locker room, come out, what changed in your mind?
Man, we just got a resilient group. We know they're going to make their runs throughout the game. They're going to hit shots. We can't do anything about that. It's basketball, but we got a resilient group, man. We stayed the course, just kept doing what we do. We knew if we did what we did as good as we usually do it, that we were going to come out on top, and we just kept doing what we did.
You stepped to the line right there in the closing moments, shooting 2 free throws. I talked to you right before we came on the set. You're looking around the crowd. It's the world's most famous arena. What is going through your mind as you step to the line right there, Adam?
Man, I'm not going to lie. I was just blessed to be in that moment. I was just looking around like, dang, I was just trying to take it all in. Take it all in. The magic of Madison Square Garden, being at the line in that moment, I knew I had to put them in. So,
Colby, when you look at how this tournament now is progressing and you're going to play in the night game of the night games on Friday night at Madison Square Garden, and you get a chance to really put this stamp on your career, just in general, how far you've come here at Xavier and now to be playing this well at the right time. What does this all mean for you in this team, in this unit?
I mean, it means everything. Coming in as a freshman, wide-eyed, and just to see, through the years going through ups and downs, I mean, it's been a blessing. And, you hear about Friday nights at the Madison Square Garden, so I'm just excited for it. I'm going to take it all in with my teammates, and we're going to try and get the win.
I want to ask you real quick about Souley Boum, because he has been such an integral part of this team and controlling the team and stepping up, hitting free throws, hitting big shots, whatever it might be. What's it like having a point guard like him? Adam, I'll start with you.
Man, it's great. Souley does all the right things. He gets his guys involved. He hits big shots, hits big free throws. He's clutch. He's got that clutch gene in him. And he just makes sure we get into what we need to get into on offense, regardless of how much the defense is pressuring up in him. He's always in the right place at the right time. So it's great playing for a leader like Souley.
Colby?
Just kind of piggybacking off of what AK said. I mean, he's been the head of our snake the whole season. We're going to go to him when we need a bucket, especially at the free throw line. But just to have someone that's calm and resilient at the point guard spot, that's big, and I'm glad we have him on our side.
Colby, I got one last question for you here. You had 4 points and 4 turnovers at halftime. You come out in the second half, you score 18 points. You do not turn the ball over. What changed between the first 20 minutes and the second 20 minutes? Was it something you saw on the court? Was it something that you talked about in the locker room? What was the difference?
Really, I think I just had to take a deep breath and calm down. I think I was trying to do too much. I feel like second half I just really played for my team, looked out for others, and I feel like that's what opened things up for me.
Adam, Colby, Friday night in the Garden. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
We thank the Musketeers for their time. So let's set things up here. Semifinal Friday. We will be with you at 5:30 Eastern Time from the Garden for a special pregame show ahead of FS1's coverage. 6:30 Eastern Time. It is Marquette and UConn. That's the 6th-ranked team in the country against the 11th-ranked team in the country, followed by 15th-ranked Xavier against 24th-ranked Creighton. Tyreek Turner, let's begin with the Golden Eagles and the Connecticut Huskies. What does that game come down to?
Well, there's two dynamic offenses. Marquette is a dynamic, explosive offense, 80-plus points a game. Kolick is the player of the year. He controls everything. And then Jordan Hawkins for UConn is a stud, dynamic scorer. I think it's not about individuals, it's about team. I think it's going to come down to which team can guard the three. That's just one stat I'm going to throw out there. They both shoot a lot of threes, but which team can stop the other team from shooting threes and making them, I think is going to come out with a win.
I think when you look at the perimeter for both clubs, it's fascinating. The way Kolick turned it around in the second half today against St. John's, now going against different styles. Like Tariq, I'm a huge fan of Hawkins, watching him play, especially when he doesn't have the basketball. But I think the paint and Sonogo and the boards might be the difference. I give the edge to the Huskies in that one.
Who are you going with?
I think I'm going to go with Marquette.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
There it is. There's the pick from Tyreek Turner. Yeah. Well, you think about the fact, here's the thing. We all talked about that UConn and Providence were going to go into a war with each other. Well, for a while there, it looked like it wasn't going to be that. Now, the Friars came back from 26 down. They got within 5. But here's the thing, folks. Here's the thing. Marquette had to go through a war of their own. St. John's gave them a real battle, but shots were not falling. Cam Jones and Tyler Kolick are not going to shoot that poorly again. Omax Prosper was 7 for 11. I just think the Huskies are too much. I've got Connecticut advancing to the Big East Tournament final. Next game, 9 Eastern Time later tonight. You're talking about Xavier and Creighton. When these two teams met at the Cintas Center earlier this year, it's one of the best offensive games that we've seen in college basketball this season. The ball is going to be popping like the booze will be flowing between the Blue Jay and Musketeer faithful. It's going to be high level later tonight. What do you think, Dr. Parisi, this game comes down to?
I think this one is going to come down to Creighton defensively. I think that Kalkbrenner is going to control the paint. I think that Greg McDermott is going to bounce back tomorrow night on short notice with a defensive game plan for Colby Jones. And I think the 3-ball and the way Creighton is passing the rock and the cohesiveness of their half-court offense right now is going to edge the Musketeers.
I'm going the other side. I think Colby Jones is in an incredible rhythm. I think Sule Boom is going to continue to be the stud that he's been, even though he didn't have to be that tonight. And I just think that, Nunji is a guy who is just a threat at all times. And I think it's going to come down to that that trio right there playing well together and coming out with the win.
Let the record show we disagreed on both accounts tonight.
Yes, you did.
We agree to disagree. Which one of you guys is going to have more gel in your hair tomorrow? That's what I want to know.
Well, I put a little water. I touched it up.
Yeah.
John was tight about an hour before the Marquette St. John's game. It looks more like a feathery swan right now. It's gotten very dry as the evenings progressed.
Right.
Yes.
He should have went in and did a little sink splash, but that's just my own.
Why did you ask
opinion.
that question?
Because it's been a big topic off camera,
Sure.
and I know how important gel is to you. And
It
Vinny,
is, yeah.
Vinny, you're a
Well,
big
I
gel
use
guy
product.
too.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
A mix of Old Spice, some different things. Clean shave tomorrow, hot shower.
Old Spice. What decade are we in?
Brute.
Just for men? Yeah. Remember those commercials?
Yes, sir. Please don't.
We'll be ready.
You were born in 1995. Don't talk about Old Spice to me.
And that'll do it for us here this morning. So tomorrow night, oh, by the way, I've got Creighton in the second game because I picked them to win the tournament.
Of course, you got to stay with it.
And they've been the most Creighton put up the most complete performance from start to finish of the tournament thus far.
And they're fun to watch play, let's be honest.
Oh, plenty
Even
of
if
fun.
they weren't in the Big East and we weren't covering them. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, that's right. I'm waiting on the altar. I'm waiting on the altar for Greg McDermott. All right. This is their week. The Blue Jays, they're right on track. That was a very impressive performance tonight as Creighton wins at 87-74 over a desperate Villanova team. And for Villanova, they won 7 of their last 10 games. It's a tough way to finish. They'll be all right. We'll be back with you later tonight, 5:30 Eastern Time, on Twitter, on YouTube. We'll be here. We'll be with you after the games as well. Fellas, get some rest, and we'll see you all later today. Thanks for watching Shoot Around from the Big East Tournament.
See you soon.